What is going on today, guys? We have a lot going on in the markets. We have Nvidia earnings tomorrow. We just got big news from AMD and IBM about a quantum collaboration. A lot of stuff is happening and we have a ton to cover in a short period of time. We're also going to cover 6 different stocks today as well. We're going to cover Veritone, Rigetti, IonQ, D-Wave, UAVS, AG Eagle, and BTQ Technologies, BTQQF. We're going to do all of this. My goal is in about 18 minutes. So this is going to be super packed with information. All I ask of you guys, if you appreciate content like this, hit the like button. It helps more people see this, keeps the retail investor informed. Let's jump right in. Taking a look at the quantum watch list here, we can see that Rigetti had a very nice day, closing above the critical psychological level of $15 and above a key resistance of about $15.20 with a change of 5.74%. IonQ also had a really nice day. Skywater had a good day, D-Wave. And down the quantum watch list, we had a pretty nice day while Quantum Emotion continues to see sell-off. Looking at the stock heat map, it wasn't all good news. It was a little bit mixed, but we can see that semiconductors did well. Apple and Nvidia did well. Google had some sell-off after reaching over $210 a share yesterday. Meta, Amazon, Microsoft were flat, and finance as a sector did well today. Just taking a look at the markets, the S&P was up 0.41, the Dow 0.30, NASDAQ 0.44. And as you can see from the charts, a lot of buying came in at the end of the day. Maybe some anticipation for a pre-earnings Nvidia carried market rally tomorrow. So Nvidia reports tomorrow, and we know that there has been some rough seas for Nvidia. Trump initially banned the sale of chips to Nvidia in April and dropped the ban in July, and they added a 15% fee in August. During its Q1 earnings call, Nvidia said it expects to take an $8 billion hit to its bottom line in Q2. So there's tariffs on semiconductors, there's taxes on semiconductors, there's all kinds of kind of dust that still needs to settle with Nvidia, but it does look like they're allowed to sell to China. And I'm optimistic that they will have a good earnings. We will see tomorrow after the bell. We had some huge news in quantum today. So IBM and AMD have joined forces to develop quantum-centric supercomputing. If you guys don't know this already, IBM is one of the biggest names in quantum. In fact, they have over $1 billion in revenue just from quantum alone. That's maybe not a known fact in the household. So they've announced this partnership combining IBM's quantum systems with AMD's high-performance CPUs, GPUs, and AI accelerators. Very nice. The collaboration will focus on scalable, open-source hybrid platforms that allow quantum computers to simulate molecular behavior while classical supercomputers process large-scale data. So again, as we've been talking about on this channel all year, a complement to the GPU and CPU, not a replacement. Initial demonstrations are planned later this year, with companies aiming to advance fault-tolerant quantum computing by decade's end. So by 2030, or for anyone who's counting, less than 4.5 years from now. This is a pretty big partnership, and IBM and AMD have both had great company performance and stock performance, especially after March and April this year. In fact, I believe the last time I looked, AMD was even outperforming Nvidia in their stock price. So quantum computing will simulate the natural world and represent information in an entirely new way, says Arvind Krishna, chairman and CEO of IBM. By exploring how quantum computers from IBM and the advanced high-performance compute technologies of AMD work together, we will build a powerful hybrid model that pushes past the limits of traditional computing. And then from Lisa Su, we see high-performance computing is the foundation for solving the world's most important challenges. We partner with IBM to explore the convergence of high-performance computing and quantum technologies. We see tremendous opportunities to accelerate discovery and innovation. So the beautiful thing about this is these are two big tech leaders. These are big companies, and it creates tailwinds and it encourages investors for quantum in general. And that's why we saw that very green quantum watch list today. Is we're getting confirmation that some of the bigger tech players in the tech landscape are starting to put some serious thought, money, and effort, and even creating partnerships and collaboration. We also had this SEC document confirming a larger Quantinuum funding round. So Quantinuum, for those of you who don't know, is a private company, quantum company, but they're doing a lot. They have an association with JPMorgan Chase, with Quanta and Serendipity Capital confirmed as an investor, and there are indications that Nvidia may participate in the funding round. Quantinuum has a valuation, they say, of about $10 billion, and that's up from $5 billion earlier this year. Alongside the financing, Quantinuum is prepared to launch its next-gen Helios quantum computer with a new full-stack platform featuring the Guppy program language, Selene emulator, and expanded integration with Nvidia tools to support progress towards fault-tolerant systems. So Quanta has invested in Rigetti and Quantinuum, spreading their bets between private and public companies. I like it. Quantinuum has not yet made a formal statement about the funding round or who the other investors might be in addition to Serendipity Capital and Quanta, but the Quanta filing pinpoints a valuation of $10 billion. So soon that will be revealed to us who is investing in Quantinuum, but that is a big deal also. And then we got this other article as well. And just a shout out to Quantum Insider. They always do a great job, great coverage of the space, linking multiple quantum chips to build larger, more reliable quantum computers. Researchers at the University of California, Riverside showed that modular quantum architectures made of many small chips can still create fault-tolerant systems with imperfect connections. Simulations found that links up to 10 times noisier than the chips themselves still allowed for error detection and correction. Our work isn't about inventing a new chip, said Mohammed A. Shalbi, the author of the paper. It's about showing that the chips we already have can be connected to create something much larger and still work. And this kind of validates the Rigetti approach of the multi-chip system. And we just saw they have the 36 qubit chip, and they told us they have a pathway and plan to release a 100 qubit chip, multi-chip system by the end of 2025. All right, now we're going to get into the stocks. We're going to start with Veritone because Veritone had a beautiful move today. Veritone was up 24% on the day. I'm going to put this on the screen, but I actually had the pleasure of interviewing Ryan Steelberg, the CEO of Veritone, and I got to ask a bunch of questions, and it made me feel a lot better about Veritone, and the questions that I had were answered. And I'm very happy to see the stock move like it did today. So what do we have going on here with Veritone? Well, for the members of the Discord, lately when we've been talking about this type of thing, what I do is I try to run a little report or something and try to figure out what is actually going on, what it created the price movement. So we're going to take this with a grain of salt, but basically I ran a report and asked what are the likely drivers behind this 24% move. ChatGPT gave a nice answer, and again, grain of salt, 5 reasons. Number 1, the Q2 2025 revenue beat and strong guidance. Number 2, government contract and data refinery momentum. Number 3, cost reduction and capital actions. And I want to point out here that Veritone executed a cost reduction, and management also raised $10 million offering, and the CEO Ryan Steelberg personally invested $1 million and bought shares of his own company. You always love to see the CEO do that. A June 2025 filing showed that Isusa Holdings bought a 9.9% stake. So strategic investment and short interest creates and improved narrative for AI monetization. I also went over to their site, looked at their recent press releases to see if I could find any more clues. They did partner with Newsmax to monetize their expansive content library. So they're going to use their technology and to monetize the newsroom and production workflows and unlock the value of its 20-year content archive. And that's where Veritone can come in with their product and just make petabytes of information more accessible and actionable. So very cool to see that they got a new partnership. And then Veritone has also achieved an AI milestone with 5 trillion with a T tokens processed in just Q2 of 2025 alone. 5 trillion tokens. So if you want to talk about, and you had this CEO on this show come on here and say that AI is here to stay and it's going to change the way we do everything, and it's going to permeate into all kinds of things. So what is the stock price doing? Well, it had a little bit of a delayed reaction perhaps to earnings. And we can look back at 6 months and see that it's had some of these spikes and drops. Today's candle, what ended up happening, and I pointed out in the Discord to channel members, is that this rising support that we've seen since early July, we actually lost the rising support here and it recaptured that rising support. So if we zoom out even further, it's a little bit more kind of clear to see where we are potentially in this. If this is a true reversal, then there's a long way to go for Veritone, because April of 2024, this was a $7.33 stock. And if you look to the left even further, if you look at February of 23, this was a $10 stock. If you look in 2022, this was a $19 stock. So surely there's some upside if stock is to go up. But what you see happening is all the people that have Veritone shares here and here and here and here, they're all going to sell as the stock goes up. So keep that in mind, that all of those highs of the last year are real resistances and will come into play for Veritone. So what's right in front of Veritone if it's to continue this rally? It needs to knock out and hold the $3 and $3.20. So that would be getting past its 52-week high. Actually, 52-week high, we're going back to October of 2024. 52-week high would actually be 554. So we need to knock out 554, and we're going to have potentially some bumps along the way because it's got to get past 377. It's not even really past its 2-month high. So it's got to get over $3 and hold over $3. Basically, Veritone has a long way to go, but this is a nice candle. It's one of the longest candles you can see, very bullish candle after a good earnings and a good turnaround story. Okay, Rigetti. So Rigetti is in a really nice spot. So we've talked about Rigetti a lot on the channel, but it had a 5% day. It had a really nice green candle. And of course, you can see the AMD, IBM, Quantinuum news. Investors aren't stupid. They can see that money is pouring into the quantum space, and the price for entry is getting higher and higher if you want to have a position in quantum. And that's what we've been seeing, especially since really they announced their 36 qubit chip. Is Rigetti just got more expensive in it. And there's been some buying opportunities. And now what it's doing is it's holding above this $15 price point. And the $15 is, you know, when you look at it, when you think about stocks, investors really like whole numbers. They're not going to tell you they like whole numbers, but $15 is a psychological support. It's both a psychological resistance and support, but you don't have to take my word for it. Look at the number of rejections off of 15 in the past few trading days. And this included a day where we got a dovish Fed, and it still rejected off $15 a share. So the optimism in the trade actually pushed it through that key psychological level, and it actually got above 15.20 as well, which may now flip to support. And we did see Rigetti shoot up to $18 a couple times in the last few weeks of trading this ticker. So the overall trend for Rigetti is intact. There is a rising support. It is broken through 15. I'm watching Rigetti hopefully to the upside, and let's hope that we keep getting some good news. All right, let's take a look at IonQ. So IonQ also recaptured a critical level. Now, I'm just going to do this on the screen so you guys can kind of see what IonQ has been doing. If it goes up to 46, 47, don't get your hopes up because it could reject and come down to 36. It's done that 3 or 4 times since we had the 38% day. They're going to need a real catalyst to rocket them out of this zone. I would say they are squarely zone controlled between this 39.50 and 48.68. It's great for selling options against shares. A subscriber of the channel emailed me and told me he's making a lot of money doing that. But as far as near-term profitability, you could expect in a base case that it's just going to keep chopping around until there's a real catalyst to send this higher. But I can tell you that IonQ does seem to have a lot of institutional investors, because institutions are, at the end of the day, what is pushing around this stock. We're not having huge orders of $40+ per share from retail investors, at least that isn't moving the stock by itself. So IonQ's actually been in a nice rally off this recent low of 35. It's at 40 and it's stair stepping up. Let's see if it can continue that momentum. Okay, D-Wave. So D-Wave Systems, QBTS, has been such an impressive performer. Of course, it got above this high, it got above the 2024 euphoria, and it hasn't really looked back. In fact, the lowest buying opportunity has been $13.56. Another thing that you might not know about D-Wave is now 50% institutionally owned. So institutions are deciding what is the fate of D-Wave. And D-Wave, we know, has a couple of things going on. They have the Japan conference that they just announced last minute, which is next month. And they have stuff going on in South Korea. They have stuff going on in Japan. They have clients over there. Do they have another system sale in the work? What's going on with the Davidson installation of the computer? And will we see another Advantage 2 systems sale by the end of 2025? Or maybe we'll see multiple sales of the Advantage 2 system. Hard to say, but the C-suite is going over to Japan. It makes me think there's potentially still more upside. And by more upside, I mean there could be a lot more upside. And of course, even after the earnings, they missed on their earnings. It was a mixed bag. They had a better than expected revenue, but they missed on the EPS. We didn't see the stock sell off like crazy. It's been in a little bit of a downtrend, but it's holding its own around $15, $14 a share, and it's waiting on its next catalyst. So could that be coming soon? All right. So this video is getting a little bit longer than I wanted to. So we're just going to fly through these last two. So AG Eagle is an American drone sensor software and automated aerial intelligence company. They make cool stuff like these high precision fixed wing drones. They have multispectral drone sensors. And we can see that companies like Ondas, Red Cat, different drone companies, drones are being built all around the world, whether we like it or not, whether they are going to be used more and more in wartime, especially, but they have other uses as well, like fighting fires and that type of thing. So just a quick peek at UAVs. Revenue in the last 3 quarters has been trending positive. Free cash flow, while they're burning a lot in 2021, is trending positive. Operating income is trending positive. And cash and equivalents looks like it's going the right directions. You'd like to see more assets and liabilities. The stock was up about 8% today. And if we look back 1 year, the high for UAVs was around $10 a share in December of 2024. And then I don't know if there were reverse splits. Yeah, there were some splits. And so we can't look too far to the left. But UAVs has kind of just come alive a little bit since the low of 80 cents a share in May of 2025. And now it's sitting around a $2.10 price point. I have my position in UAVs and I'm just along for the ride. So hopefully it goes well. And BTQ, so BTQ Technologies. So BTQ is building post-quantum architectures to secure mission-critical networks. And they're doing hardware, kenting, PQ scale. And lately, the stock has been in a free fall. But today, there was a nice little 15, 20% day. In fact, it was an 18% day. So it looks like this 241 level that I had marked out previously on BTQ might be a support that BTQ is looking at from a technical perspective. And we can see that it just fell right through 4. But BTQ has had a meteoric rise from less than 20 cents a share. And it looks like it may be in a bullish reversal. So keep BTQ on your radar. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Might have gone a little bit long. There was so much to cover today. As always, appreciate each and every one of you. I read all the comments and try to respond to as many of them as possible. Appreciate all you guys. Have a great one. I hope you really enjoyed that content. If you would like to support the YouTube channel and the website, thequantumbull.com, I have 3 different membership options. I have the Quantum Bull, which starts at $4.99 a month, and you get members only videos and polls. The Golden Bull, which gets you access to our Discord, where we talk about trades. I share my buys and sells. I provide trade alerts, and we talk about all kinds of different stocks. To join, just click subscribe, the plus button by the subscribe, and you'll get a prompt and you can choose which level is best for you.